Camera's rolling. Today it's the birthday of Carolina, I think. I remember. That's a friend of my past. Beautifully. And I've been driving here around on locations where she worked and also where she lived so beautifully. I remember when our relationship as friends ended. Wow. And her stories, she told about her life beautifully. And we had a period too. Beautifully. We went out when we were younger. I remember New Year's, wow, with her and her sisters. I met Jeffrey there, one of my best friends. The beautiful thing is, this year he left to Spain. Our relationship ended beautifully. It was time to let go. But instead, and he was learning Spanish in the Netherlands. And these stories even, the way, why, he didn't have enough respect for women. Because, he said he's friends with benefits, but he didn't do it right. No. So, but anyways, he was just not respectful. And there's one story, he told me. And a few days ago, I was thinking about it, and I thought, no, man. If people don't see what I try to tell you, then they can't. I have to let you go. Definitely. It's important for my self-health care. Yes. So now I am learning to let go easier. And not to be attached to someone too much. Definitely not. So, because, hey, children are my life. My children are my life. Always. And that's the biggest love in my life. Definitely my children and my little kitty cats. So people, wow, what a blessing this Sunday. I can just rest till his mother comes home. Father Michael is cooking once again. Wow, and I'm hungry because, today I only ate the sandwiches and drank water. And, apple juice. No, orange juice, sorry. It's from appelsientje, dus, I can't mix my up in my mind because, I'm tired. But I had rest. Wow, I'm so thankful. And I'm so thankful that Father Michael came home earlier. Wow, so blessing, and he's cooking. So then I can have, wow, blessings. I can eat with my friend because, yesterday, she lost me too, I didn't have no phone with me. No phone, nothing, nothing. I was out in the world. Wow. Roosendaal. Wow. Wow, bijzonder reis, people. Unbelievable experience. But it's believable because I'm walking the walk and riding. Wow. Roosendaal. 40 minutes drive. I thought I was around the corner. No. Roosendaal. I remember Roosendaal, when I was in my, when I was working in Rotterdam. Sometimes, wow, bijzonder Roosendaal. Aaron komt uit Roosendaal. Fantastisch. Those are people from my mbo school. Fantastisch. En op de HBO had je Hoppenbrouwers. Fantastisch. Was het Hoppenbrouwers? Brouwers. Anyways, dat is ook een technische ding. Dus ik ben een beetje mijn brouwer. Anyways, one of those people, op de HBO. I remember the students, the faces, of course. Beautifully. Not all the names, because, it was a short period. Yeah. After that, I got pregnant. From Noah. A year after that, something. Beautifully. Wow, and that's one of the best. I had a 9 for psychology when I had a presentation. I always did good at psychology, fantastically. And I'm also doing recaps, in the study time when I was doing the cursus Praktische Psychologie voor vrouwen. Yes, I learned a lot, but it was so beautifully. Now I think back and think, oh yeah, that's what I learned. That's what she said. Maya. So, she remembers me definitely, because she brought me in contact with a girl there. We had a short, friendship for a while. She had 2 children. Wow, and we had a good understanding too. We met up, and she reminded me of my friend from back in the days, Norja, fantastically. But this was then that girl and her, beautifully, man. Oh, there's a siren again. For a kick one. Oh, I guess it wants me to roll it I roll it out because I have to have some peace in my mind. People, my life is so believable, really. It's happening. And the universe is showing me, So, Jesus wrote down, wow, wow, on a paper. Do you know? The people couldn't believe, that I'm homeless. Jesus said, I can just arrange, I can make 4 few calls and then you have a room, Wow. That's really helping people out, from the street. Beautifully. Wow, yes. We had a party. Oh my goodness, great. The alcohol was flowing fantastically. But hey, I had to walk around because I had to, get loose of those energies fantastically. It was nice. But oh yeah, my sister, I want to talk. Oh my God, yes. So, she lost me. I was lost. She waited for me 15 minutes in the town, even with the lady we met 2 times. That she comes alone to the parties. Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. Oh my God. And I even remember my mother's stories about. My mother didn't only tell about. I loved when my mother spoke about beautiful stories. I loved to listen to her. But when she told me stories about, her pains, repeat. Oh, she was on repeat, And then when I told her, Mommy, you told me this before. Yeah, she didn't listen. And one time I told my mother in a different phase in my life, I said, Mommy, sometimes you say this and that. Do you know what she told me? She said, yeah, then you must just ignore it. How can you ignore something like that? But I didn't know better then that it was, her brain wasn't operating anymore on the right way. That's why, for sure I'm helping my mother for sure in this whole process to, make her better, of course. Hey, if the people can't do it, then the daughter has to do it. And I'm a mother too, Mothers stand together, strong. So I don't only operate for the children, on many ways, I don't like bullies. Nah. I love just, do you respect each other? That's what Jesus told me too, respect is important. And it's for sure. Wow. Wow, fantastically. People, it's so unbelievable, my life. I have to say it again, sorry. I have to rest, that's it. I'm falling in repeat again. My mother. I had to have a snap out because I was thinking about, recapping also in my mind about things, how life folded this last few days, Also with Spanish vibes, So, yeah. I'm just a great love, I love people. I love people that are good for people. Yes, those are the great ones, And that's respect, So, I'm very thankful now, I even said, to Jesus, said, my friends for my first line, the network. Wow, there's only one that believed me, like I said, in my life. And she gave birth on the 19th for a beautiful daughter. Wow, on Mikey's birthday. Of course, I was celebrating too much energies. Happy energies around me. So all went well, just to end the story, of course. All went well. I came and I said, hey, girl. She was worried. I said, sorry. I don't know if I said sorry, but I'm going to say that later. And I had a recap about many years ago, Christina. Wow. There's a story too behind that girl. Wow. Wow, I remember, wow. Years later, I met her again in the train. She sat in front of me. I came from Rotterdam. Wow, she was sitting in front of me. My mother introduced me to her. We went to live on rooms together. And years later, I found her back in the train. And we had a contact shortly. I could apologize to her because, our relationship in that time didn't end well. And I understand, she just, was her self-respect. I love that. I respect her for that. Hey, because I was a child then, I was still learning life. So that's why even, with Spanish vibes and his friend, I understand his friend now better that he reacts now, how he reacts. Hey, I can imagine how it feels, if you have been living everywhere else, and like they live. That in their brains, they get depressed, they get all sorts of things. Of course, you know, when you work hard, in the weekends they celebrate to get it off them. You know, they party, they drink, they do all sorts of things, you know. I'm learning more about people and life and mankind, humankind. Well, in all sorts of ways. Because, hey, you know, you go, you need to dive in it. You need to know what's going on. Then you can see what you see, you know. And that's what the people in this Dutch companies, you know, Raad van Kinderbescherming, Veilig Thuis, Sterke Huis, Vakkenteam Tilburg, all those people, you know, the procesbegeleider, Van Dongen, you know that girl? Do you know what she said to me in that period? She said, if you don't sign, then you can't see your children. What the fuck, eh? So Jesus, he wanted to know the puzzle. And then I told him, and then he thought, because you got mad. Yes, I told him the story. I gave him a fist, the father of my children. Hey, I can't remember that I did that, but I got loco, and when you snap, you snap. Wow, what he did, man, of course, man. I didn't even know that at that point that he was emotional abusing me and my children all those years, and me before that time, you know. Wow. And then I came home. I told Jesus today. I told him. I said, when I came home in that period that I was living there with my children, you know, I was organizing everything, you know. I even took my clothes out of that closet, you know. But he went behind my back. And then, you know, he saw me happy, you know, in those days. Yes, I had to be happy because I had to survive, you know, living with the devil in a house. Yes, he's the devil. Sorry for my swearing. I told Jesus, I said, people have to know that there are people like that because we have to protect our children. Wow. So, you know, he found out the puzzle. He said, oh, because at one point I said, yeah, I gave him a fist. I didn't have pain in my hands. I don't remember. But hey, he was sitting in front of the Raad van Kinderbescherming. And at that point, I didn't even know what was going on in my life. I was surviving then already. And then she asked him, did she do that? He said, yes. I don't even know how it looked. I don't really. Because at that point, after that escalation, that I didn't even look at him. I only saw him from a distance, but it didn't look that bad or something. It was, I don't know what the F they are. You know? And after all those years that he did that to me, wow, there was little what he got back from me. He deserves really locked up time. That's sick, eh? Sick people. He has to get some treatment, and a really good one. Wow. So, you know, oh yeah, the beautiful thing Jesus said, you're pure. Wow. But you know, I also shared more about me, you know, who I am, what I am, my talents, everything. And you know, like-minded. 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 Thank you, Jesus. So, you know, wow, it made me stronger. Thank you. Blessings from the universe, people. Blessings, you know. There are more things to share, you know, because wow. But I have to first settle things in my mind, have more rest, of course, have some food later. Oh, thank you. And of course, I want to have a rest before Sister Anne comes home, yes. And I said I'm going to set my alarm, but I'm going to set it half an hour longer so that I have more rest. Yes, because I deserve it. Definitely. Wow, people. I even told Jesus, yes, I'm stronger. Wow, but yes, it's more people. There's more behind the story about Jesus. What the freaking heaven. Wow. And you know, what I like about meeting people, that when they're also interested in the person, you know, and when yes, and when the communication is good, yes, because you know, it's also foreign again. Wow, beautifully. You know, so we're all one. We're all one. Family, you know. I learn about other families. Wow. Stories, people. Stories. I love to hear stories. Oh, wow. Hey, that's what the man doesn't know, eh? I said I listen to people. I love, and that's what Jesus also said. Multicultural people. I love them. The stories about Jesus. Oh, people. I'm so excited. Wow. Unbelievable. It's so believable because it's happening. Okay. So let me reflect on this. And you know, and also just a little one. And also the thing is, the stories that people tell me, then I thought, oh yeah, wow, I would have wanted to do that job too, you know. But then I hear stories from them, beautifully, but short stories, not all too long. But hey, I love it. I love to, you know, souls. So, you know, before the Jesus left, wow, the last lines I said, Jesus will always remember. It was great. And at peace. It was so beautiful. Because, you know, I said, great people meet great people, you know, because I'm not here. Yes, when someone compliments me now, yes, I give it back to them. Because, you know, great people meet great people. But I am on a journey because I had a, yes, we are all on our one, oh yeah, we're all on our own personal journey, but there's one line that is always the same. And yeah, so, you know, I'd said it, wow, it was beautiful people, greatness, jeez, blessings, Sunday, ciao, arrivederci, la vita è bella. Oof, I love that movie, you know. My father always knew the good movies. And you know, he said always, there are always some movies you watch in the cinema, some you don't go watch there. You know, even my father, I learned a lot from my father. On a different way, but I had to learn also the other part from my mother, you know, the pain. Wow, her pain. Against me, you know, all the haterade she did all those years against me, people. Wow. In her sickness, wow, I didn't know, you know, but now I know better. Because she did it, she never had the right help. And I remember when she started to, after, you know, she lost her job, she lost herself more. She has always been a strong woman, my mother. All is good out there. Brother Michael is there. So, you know, my mother, yeah, she had a, you know, the thing is, you know, in Spanish vibes, when I communicate with him, you know, it's like sometimes, you know, his mind is too full. It doesn't, I can't, in that, some points I can't reach him. But that's okay, you know, because I understand psychology like that better. Um, but, you know, I'm thankful. I learn better. I learn on all sorts of ways. I love to learn. I told Jesus, I love to learn on all sorts of ways. Yes, everything. Hey, yes, why? So funny, you know. So when he found out the puzzle, let's go back to Jesus. And he said, now I understand, you know. He even said, you know, in his country again, wow, beautifully. Same country, beautifully. The male, yeah, feminist. The male will straight, if you call the police, you say this is what he did, even if you're not saying the truth. Immediately the father goes locked up. Wow. And now with my situation, I had to do it on a different way, you know, to find a solution for me and my children, definitely. Because if I was going into the system with those people, it would take me longer to get out of it, definitely. I had to roll on this way to find our way home back together in this injustice against me and my children. And I didn't want anything to do with those people in the beginning. I remember, you know, even my friend, one of my good sisters, she said, no, you don't want to enter those people in your life. But hey, the universe had to bring me in there to see what happens inside. But working around it. Wow. That's unhuman what they do with our children. Definitely. That's really unhuman. I know there are a lot of foreign people here in this country. Wow, that's what I spoke about with Jesus. Great, I love great-minded people. Definitely. You know, I love to speak. That, you know, you have to. It's been a long time that I met so many people like that, you know, because I was always working full-time, you know. Oh my. Oh, Father, I hear him. Yes, speaking to him. So, you know, I told Jesus also, you know, I was always working with a company with good, great names because I wanted to learn from them. Hey, how I met a lot of great people. I remember how I always felt, I remember, that in a period of my time, I thought, hey, I don't even dare to speak to the director or whatever. And I worked on it. I worked myself up. And now, even if you're on top, you're just a person. But I want to know, I can understand through your conversation, your words. That's what I spoke about with Jesus. In a few lines, that I can understand what type of mindset that person has. And that can be on all sorts of levels. I had to go in the underground to find out. And not too much for me, because I told that to Jesus today, I don't want to see too much because I know much. For myself, learning lessons. It's about yourself, learning yourself better also, When I know myself, I know life. Yes, because live life. Yes, Jesus, live life. A song, wonderfully. Wow, and the funny, beautiful thing is, wow, in Sprangkapelle, I also met the entrepreneur. Yes, wow, I still have his number on my phone. Wow, man. He also tried to help me in the face then. After, I couldn't stay with Moeder Shalene anymore. He helped me too. Wow. And after that, he gave me advice because he said, I can help you with my lawyer. But I had to arrange things, and I told Jesus, when you go to the UWV and you ask the daklozenuitkering, hey, whoa. The second time I did that, and the face next to that after a while, the lady told me, said, yeah, you have to have 3 addresses that they can check where you live. And if you can't find a place to stay and you're gonna stay out in a park, you draw down the park, and then on the couch where you can lay down, you put a cross there, and you send that as proof. I thought, what the F? I ain't gonna sleep on the park. What do you think, man? Girl, it was a woman. Hey, no, man. I'm so thankful I never slept outside. Wow, I said, hey, man, what would happen? Stranger comes by, see me lying there? What the freak, man? And I even told Jesus today, I said, what my life, what happened in my life, I could have become, an alcoholic, a junkie, or, my mother told me a story about a homeless, a zwerver back in the day. She said he was a very clever man. He was, I thought he was a student. No, not sorry. He was a professor on the university. And he had a lot of money and he lost everything. Yes, because he didn't know how to find a way back home in himself. My mother, her stories, yes, back to her stories. So, it wasn't all sad stories, no. And the funny thing was, I only didn't like the stories that she was keeping repeating it. But hey, I'm doing this on the internet. Hey, because, hey, I'm finding my way. Yes, in this injustice. Wow, if I would follow them, wow, like I said, and the advices that people gave me, they say they are my friends. No, man, that's no good advice. I'm so thankful I stepped out. Wow. And that's why, they couldn't help me anymore. I'm thankful. I needed to meet new people to understand what's going on. Yes. Yes, for the children, of course. Definitely. What the freak, man. Oh, I told Jesus today. I said, I met even children in Sprangkapelle, 12 years, doing drugs. What the freak, man. Showing me, but they trusted me. It was a beautiful face, because now when I do a recap and I watch videos from that time, how skinny I was. Hey, I looked like a little child, man. Wow, but they saw me as a woman, old woman. But I look at my face and I think I look so young, beautifully. But they see how I'm old. Weird. But the funny thing is, of course the children see always. It's the grown-ups that get lost later and they don't see it no more. Some of them, not all of them, of course. Hey, I'm also learning, I will always learn in my life. Till the end, till I die, man. I love to learn life. Because then I can, I always remember, people when they tell stories. And even when I listened back in the days, I always listened because I got bored sometimes. And then we had to listen. But I'm thankful for that because, wow, there's more out of life, the children can learn. So I told Jesus my plan, especially, oh, and you know what the beautiful thing is? We're going to teach, of course. I have to do that all over the world.